The Flames make another trade, this time Noah Hanifin out the door as he is off to Sin City. Hey everyone, welcome into Burning Questions. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Postmedia Calgary Flames writers Wes Gilbertson and Danny Austin. And guys, every time we do a video, a player gets traded a few hours later, it seems, and Noah Hanifin, the latest to get dealt to Vegas on Wednesday in exchange for defenseman Daniil Miramanov, a conditional first and a conditional third-round pick. Wes, we'll start with you. How do you think Craig Conroy made out in this trade for Hanifin?
You know, they set out to get three pieces, and I think pie in the sky or best case scenario was probably that the three pieces would be a first round pick, a prospect, and a player that can step in right away. And instead they get two picks, including a first rounder in either 25 or 26, a player that can go on their roster right away as well in Daniil Miramanov. So, we sat here yesterday and talked about how the rumors that Noah Hanifin only wanted to go to Florida or to Tampa Bay were sort of complicating things for Craig Conroy. And to be quite honest, when I saw the return last night, saw that there was still a first round pick, started to hear some things about Miramanov and the offensive upside that they think he has. I think Craig Conroy did pretty well here.
Yeah, I think he did pretty well. And I would caution people. I mean, this is why the whole rebuild approach is difficult, right? Because you're not just getting first overall picks when you deal your defenseman. And I also think, let's be real, I mean, if you were to look a week and a half ago at the Flames depth chart, Noah Hanifin was not their number one defenseman. That's Rasmus Anderson. Mackenzie Weegar was probably number two, and you might have even had Tanev number three. So let's consider that they were trading a guy who was arguably their fourth best defenseman a week and a half ago, and they got a first, possibly a second. I like Vegas to win a playoff round, I'll be honest with you, so I think that's probably going to be a second. And a defenseman who, the more you read about, I mean, he suffered a major injury this year, but it was very much part of a very good Vegas defensive core. As recently as last year, and they were building him back up towards, playing a part this year. So I like it. I think we need to be realistic about what expectations are. And let's remember that 2 years ago, this team didn't get this sort of return for Sean Monahan. They got a very different veteran return for Matthew Tkachuk and got absolutely nothing for Johnny Gaudreau. So this is a whole lot better than Brad Treliving did with those three players.
And let's just make sure we give Noah Hanifin his due, because he does lead the team in total minutes this season, or led the Flames. I should be using past tense. For my money, he's been their best defenseman this season. And you're right, Calgary has had depth at that position, but the Vegas Golden Knights are getting a hell of a defenseman here. They're going to like him in the desert. There's no doubt about that.
So it's always interesting when two divisional rivals make a trade, Danny, and we see it historically. Teams tend to have made maybe a bigger price for teams to acquire a player in division, but now we've seen it a couple of times here earlier, the Nikita Zadorov trade between the Flames and the Canucks. But what are your thoughts on just the, idea of making in-division trades, and hopefully things don't come back to bite you in the butt down the road?
The Flames looked like they were going to be winning a cup this year. I'd be a whole lot more worried about it. I mean, who cares what Vancouver and Vegas are doing for the next couple of years? Well, you're retooling and rebuilding and aren't in contention. Doesn't bother me if Vegas wins a playoff round or two, and I'm not sure it bothers that many people if Vancouver is winning playoff rounds when we here in Calgary are celebrating the winter turning to spring and enjoying our time in the mountains. So for me, look, it's very different if the Flames are actually competing with those teams and are contending with those teams. But for right now, the timeline has moved down a couple notches, and I just don't think that it's any real concern. You can't be losing sleep over that.
Yeah, they needed Vegas in this conversation to maximize the trade return. And, if people are underwhelmed by what they got back from the Golden Knights, and I know there's maybe mixed feelings on that. Like, if you feel underwhelmed by the return package here, you can only imagine what the Tampa Bay Lightning were offering. And so I totally agree with Danny, whether it's Lindholm, Zadorov, now Noah Hanifin. If the best deal for the future of the Flames is within the Pacific Division, go for it.
Well, we'll see if Craig Conroy has anything left up his sleeve heading into the deadline on Friday. And if he does anything, we'll definitely be talking about it in the next Burning Questions. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For Wes Gilbertson and Danny Austin, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.